Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful and easy summer cotton throw blanket. It's a great blanket to have along if you're going to the beach, to the pool, out back, or even if you just get a little bit of chill at church or at the restaurant. You can always have a blanket in your car. It's just a really easy pattern. You can see it's a simple repeat. And once you get going from the beginning, you just repeat for the length that you want. I made this one 30 inches wide by 42 inches long, which is the perfect size for when I'm watching one of my Hallmark movies or some other movie, and I just want something on my lap because the air conditioner is so cold sometimes in the evenings. So it's just a really nice lightweight and washable blanket because it is made out of cotton. And we'll talk more about the yarns in just a few minutes. I think you're really going to enjoy this. I do have the multiples, the row counts, stitch counts, all of that stuff along with the written pattern and lots of pictures on the blog. And as always, I'm going to put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. All right, let's talk about yarn. The yarn that I use to make this cotton summer throw, it's even lacy, is the Cotton Sprout worsted medium weight number 4. Now this color is called Coral Reef, and this color is just aqua. And I did several rows in one, then I did a few rows in the other, and just striped it back and forth because I wanted these big spots of like ocean water along with these spots that remind me of desert. And it's so pretty. I love how it turned out. And I do have the on that blog where I changed colors, but you don't have to. You can use any medium weight number 4 cotton yarn, especially Cotton Sprout. This is perfect for this particular pattern. Okay, so it's 100% cotton. I wanted to show you that. Sometimes we do blends, but this one is 100% cotton. And you're going to need approximately 14 ounces in total. Okay, so one of these has 3 ounces on it. So that tells you how many that you're going to need in total. 7 ounces of each color or 14 ounces total, because it is a really nice size blanket. All right, and I just love making them out of cotton. And this Cotton Sprout is just wonderful. All right, so that's what I used. So you can use any medium weight number 4 cotton, or if you want to do this pattern and make it out of acrylic, it won't be as light and airy, of course, but it will make a nice throw. You can use any medium weight number 4 acrylic yarn as well. I just really wanted to design this one in cotton. We're going to be stitching today with our eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And then besides that, all you need is a needle and a pair of scissors. Now, wouldn't this be a great take-along project? All right, you ready to get started? So what we're going to do is we're going to begin with our slip knot. And we're going to loosely chain 96 chains. Now this is going to get you the blanket that is 30 inches wide and 42 inches long. All right, but what I'm going to be doing is doing just a swatch to show you how the pattern works. I'm not going to make another whole blanket, all right? But we'll be referring back and forth from the actual blanket through the video. All right, so we're going to begin, and you're going to need to stitch 96 chains, just a little bit loose. All right, now for the demo, I'm only going to be stitching 30. All right, so you stitch 96 chains loosely. All right, so again, since I'm just doing a demo, a swatch to show you how the pattern works, I only chained 30 chains. Now it's always important to begin with your chain just a little bit loose. Lots of people stitch them too tight and then struggle to get their hook in those chains. All right, so you're going to have 96 chains. We're going to begin and stitch a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this blanket is intended to be stitched loosely and light so that it has a nice drape and is considered a lacy style blanket. All right, so now all you're going to do is just stitch 1 double crochet in each of the chains, working all the way across. And this is going to give us a double crochet foundation row in order to stitch our pattern. And if you've never done a fillet style pattern before, this particular pattern is a good one to learn on because it is very easy and also very pretty. Alrighty, so 1 double crochet in each of your chains across. And remember, don't pull too tightly. You don't want your gauge too tight or your tension too tight. You want it to be a nice, lacy, stretchy stitch. All right, so I began with 30. You began with 96 chains. We began in the 2nd chain from the hook and stitched 1 double crochet in each chain. So you're going to have 94 double crochets. I have 28. All right, and I'm going by the multiples of 11 chains plus 8 chains. All right, alrighty, so you have 94 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Our chain 3 at the beginning of every row counts as your first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, now our chain 3 counted as 1 and we stitched 5, so we have 6 double crochets at the beginning. We're going to chain 1, we're going to skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next. And we're going to do this 2 more times. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, and double crochet in the next. And that gives us 3 chain 1 spaces. All right, so now we're going to double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, now because, whoops, let me move my hook there. We stitched 1 after our chain 1 space, and then we stitched 5 more, so we have 6 double crochets. Now we're going to repeat what we did here. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. All right, and so what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat this across. We double crocheted in the next, and then we double crocheted 5 more, so we have 6 double crochets. Then we chain 1, skip 1, double crochet 2 times, and you'll do this all the way across your row until you end up with just 5 double crochets left. Once you have repeated that all the way across and you have 5 double crochets left, you're just going to double crochet in those last 5, and that will give you 6 at the end of your row. Well, looky there, got me a little knot. There we go. It happens. All right, so there is my fifth one, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 chains. All right, so at the end we had 1 double crochet here because we did our chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. So we have our 3 chain 1 spaces, then we double crocheted, and then we had 5 left, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that gives us 6 at the end. And you should always have 6 at the beginning and 6 at the end of your rows. All right, and then chain 3. And just an FYI, however many you have double crochets, you're going to have that many stitches on each row. So if you're doing the pattern as written, and we ended up with 94 double crochets on our first row, although I ended up with 28 because I'm doing a smaller swatch, you're going to have that many stitches on every row, okay? Because you're going to still have the stitch here. It's just a chain 1 stitch. And that it's really important that you do that because you don't want your project to go out or in. You want to make sure you keep your stitch count the same on every single row. All right, so there's our chain 3. We're going to turn our work. Again, the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we'll double crochet in those first 5, and that will give us 6 double crochets at the beginning of row 3. This is one of those patterns that's really simple and enjoyable to stitch up, and I really enjoyed making my blanket. All right, so we have our chain 3 and then our 5 double crochets. So again, we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip the chain 1 space and double crochet in the double crochet, and we'll do that 2 more times. And this particular open mesh work is what's called fillet. All right, so we did our 3 chain 1 spaces with our 3 double crochets. So now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 5. So because we did 1 there and 5 more, we have our 6. All right, now we just repeat what we've been doing. Chain 1, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the next double crochet. Then we'll repeat this all the way across our row, and then when we get to the end of our row, again, we'll have those 5 double crochets to stitch in. All right, 1 more. There we go. And again, chain 3. All right, and so again on row 3, you're going to have the same amount of stitches. I have 28 because I'm doing a swatch. You're going to have 94. We have our 6, our 3 chain 1 spaces with our 2 double crochets there. 6, 3 chain 1 spaces with the 2 double crochets, and 6 double crochets. And that is basically the pattern. Let me show you on the blanket again how it looks. All right, so we started with those row of double crochets, then we have our 6 double crochets at the beginning, our 3 chain 1 spaces with our 2 double crochets, and then I repeated that all the way across, and then at the end we end with 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets. And isn't that just beautiful? All right, let's go back to the swatch. And so now I think you've got a good understanding of how the blanket pattern works. It's really simple. We're going to do another row just so that you get a good understanding. Okay, we don't ever change the rows. It's the same all the way up, 6 and 3, all the way up the whole blanket. Okay, let's do another row just so you get a good understanding. Chain 3, we turn our work. All right, so the chain 3 at the beginning of this row and every row always counts as your first double crochet. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, some more yarn out here. 3, 4, and 5. Alrighty, so that gives us 6 double crochets at the beginning because our chain 3 counts as our first. Alright, so again we're going to chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain 1, double crochet in the double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet in the next double crochet. So that gives us those 3 chain 1 spaces with 2 double crochets, which gives us that mesh look. And then we double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat. And we'll repeat this all the way across until we get to the end of our row and only have those 5 double crochets left. All right, all the way across just like we've been doing, and then 1 double crochet in those last 5 double crochets. There we go. There, last double crochet and chain 3. Okay, so now that you know how the pattern works and how it works up as our blanket, you're going to need to repeat row 4 for 60 more rows, or more if you want a longer blanket, because remember, this blanket is only 42 inches long. If you want it bigger, longer, do as many rows as you want to. But for the pattern, you're going to need to do 60 more rows so that you have 64 rows for the blanket. Okay, but I do want to talk about color changes, because what I did on my blanket, let me grab that other blanket. So what I did in order to have the rows of the coral reef color and then the aqua is I started out first and I did a total of 16 rows of the coral color. Then I switched to just the aqua because I wanted just a pop of a solid kind of an oceany color in there, and I did 5 rows of the aqua, and then I just repeated the 16 rows of the coral and the 5 rows of the aqua until I reached row 64. All right, now you don't have to do yours this way. You can change colors as many times as you want to, or do it all in one color. Okay, and it's really simple. You just change colors at the end of the row. And I did not carry my yarn because this does not have a trim on it. Okay, we didn't do a trim. It's just a basic throw. All right? All right, so you're going to repeat row 4 for 60 more rows, or more if you want a longer throw blanket. I do want to show you how I changed colors on our blanket. And all I did is when I get to the end of the row, I go ahead and I cut off the color. I don't carry my colors on this yarn up the side because I'm not putting a trim on this blanket. All right, and then I just grab my next color. And of course, it's up to you how many times you want to change colors. And I just bring it in. Make sure you do your color change and then do your chain 3. Because if not, you'll have the wrong color up here because that chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. Then what I do is I do what I call a stay knot here. I don't tie a knot, I just put them together, give it a little bit of a tug, and that keeps them from coming undone. And then I can come back in and weave that in, which is exactly what I'll do. Now, once you've done the length that you want, okay, but again, you can make this as long as you want it. And then again, all your rows are exactly the same with our 3 chain 1 spaces and 6 stitches. And then of course there's 2 double crochets in there. All right, so the last row after you've done all the length that you want is just a simple row of double crochet. All right, so we chain 3 as usual. We're going to double crochet in those 5 stitches just like we've been doing. 3, 4, 5, 6. But now, instead of doing chain 1 spaces, we're going to double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the double crochet, again double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the double crochet, and one more time since we have 3 of those, and then we'll double crochet in the next stitch and then in the next 5 stitches. 1, oops, got a knot, there we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll just repeat this all the way across for a nice even row of double crochets. Now, as far as your stitch count is going to be exactly the same that you started with when you made your first initial row of double crochets. Because again, all we're doing is stitching an even row all the way across for the bottom row or the top row of your blanket. Okay, because we started with a row of double crochets at the beginning, and then we just want to end with a nice solid row of double crochets across. So I have completed this solid row all the way across to finish off our blanket. And we'll go ahead and cut that, and we need to weave that in. Now you'll probably have some ends on the side that you'll have to weave in as well. And I left this one so I can show you how to do that so that it looks nice and neat. Because I don't put a trim on this blanket, you can, but I just don't think it's necessary. But if you do, you feel comfortable, go ahead and put a trim on it. So I did that little stay knot. That just keeps it from coming undone. And then we're just going to put those ends on our needle. And you want to make sure you stay within the color that you're weaving in. And we're going to go through these stitches. And we're not going to come all the way back this way. We're going to go back a stitch and then go forward. And it's almost as though we're sewing back and forth because we want this to stay in and not come out. And we don't want that end to be over by the end of our blanket. Okay? And make sure you're going through fibers and the stitch. And I did that like 3 times. I lost one of the strands here, and that's okay. I'll just fix it. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and cut that off. Now you'll notice the other one is a little bit shorter. And sometimes it can be a challenge when we haven't left enough yarn. And I'll show you what I do. I go ahead and I take my needle and I go through those stitches that are the same color, this kind of teal color, because if I did it down in this orange, it might show through. Okay, so I go ahead and put the needle through, and then I'll thread it on there and pull that through. And I may have to do that again so we can do that backwards thing, because we want to make sure that is not going to come out. And I'll even go through some of the threads there, and then we'll just rethread the needle and pull that through. You need to make sure that you do better than I and leave a little bit longer tail there. And then I usually kind of give it a little bit of a pull, and it looks nice and neat. Now I need to come back and weave this one in where I ended, and my blanket will be all complete. So now my summer cotton throw blanket is all complete. It's beautiful. I love how the colors flowed. To me, it does say multi-coral reef with ocean. And it's just a really fun blanket to have. I'll probably use this as my garden blanket though, because I think it'll be perfect for out in the garden sitting on my beautiful bench. All right. Now remember, you can find the multiples and all the information on the blog, how to make it wider and how to make it longer if you want a bigger blanket. I love this size. I think it's the perfect size for a throw, 30 inches by 42 inches. I hope you'll enjoy making this. It's super easy, super fun, and super versatile.